Listen, we're in the Champions League. We're in the Champions League. Finishing top 3. We're in the Champions League. Where's Liverpool? Not there. Where's Chelsea? Not there. Where's Spurs? Not there. Oh my God! You're not going blind because you did not.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well. Manchester United 0, Bayern Munich 1. Manchester United crash out of the Champions League with a whimper. I think it's best to, in these kind of situations, to really, you can assess the game this evening, which, to be honest, was really flat. Ironically enough, it was a really nothing game. For as much that was riding on it, it felt like not really a lot happened. United were very tepid, stayed in the game for a long period through the first half into a bit of the second half. But Manuel Neuer, I don't know if he'll have any mud on his kit this evening, in the sense of he didn't have anything to do of substance throughout the night. Man United, in a must-win game, didn't really throw caution to the wind. Were very defensive, were very standoffish, and Bayern were largely in cruise control. I mean, they're a team that were already through, and honestly, it felt like a game between two teams that actually were through. But in reality, Manchester United are far from it. Manchester United are not only out of the Champions League, they're out of Europe entirely. And I think it's, obviously you can analyse the game, but you can analyse really just this European campaign in general. And it's been a complete and total unmitigated disaster. I mentioned going into it that even had we won this evening and things had gone our way, you don't really deserve to go through. When you're on, I think we would have been on 7 points had we gone through this evening. It's just nowhere near good enough. And the goals conceded, the mistakes, all of it, the chaos. It's just been really poor and really deflating. And again, Manchester United now find themselves out of Europe entirely. I don't know if that's the worst thing in the world, to be honest with you. I didn't want to be in the Europa League, but it's a devastating blow, certainly. I don't know. I think the only maybe shining light to take out of the evening is that I think people expected us to get smashed by 4 or 5 and we didn't. But at the same time, maybe if we'd have taken a few risks, that would have been the case. But you could have said, at least we took some risks, and we didn't do that this evening. Again, it was very much just being out with a real whimper, with no real fight whatsoever. And we've only really got ourselves to blame. And everyone takes the shoulder of the blame. I just saw Michael on the match view say Ten Hag doesn't take the blame. Of course he does. He's made some big errors throughout this Champions League group stage. The players also will individually. Andre Onana, if you're going to single out a player individually as probably the biggest culprit as for why we're out, it would be Andre Onana. He's made huge mistakes in a variety of different games, but you would also put blame down to Erik Ten Hag, because again, that's always the case with the manager. She shouldered the blame. This is the full-time view. As always, you can call in and have your say. If you are a member, if you do wish to become a member, you can do so by clicking the link in the video description. It's also the pinned comment in the live chat. In addition to that, you can click the join button. You get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members-only content, such as UV, Raw, and the ability to call in the full-time view after every single game. You can call in and have your say. If you are a member and you do wish to call in this evening, you can do so by going to the United View YouTube page. You go all the way to the community tab. The link will be in there, but it's available only for members to see it and call in and have their say. A couple of super chats here, then we'll get into some of the calls. DN Vlog's been a member for 9 months. Says, hey, mate, it's been ages since I've been on. I want to speak today. We'll see if we can get to you, certainly. Again, there's no real sort of order, rhyme or reason. And Michelle says, our roster is bang average. It's probably an understatement, certainly, as well. Let's get to the calls. Let's go to Amanor first. Amanor, I think most people expected we were going to go out of the Champions League tonight. Went certainly out with a whimper, though. What did you make of it all?
Obviously disappointing, but I think for me, where was the intensity? Where was the intensity from the manager? Where was the intensity from the players? I understand actually, that they took the defensive approach this match, but we needed to win this match. And you think for the last 30 or 40 minutes, the players would have played with a bit more pace, played with a bit more intensity up front. And apart from Luke Shaw, I can't remember the keeper making a save. Can you? I
No,
can't.
no, I can't either. I mean, when I got to half time, I wasn't entirely disappointed. I thought,
No,
well,
no.
0-0, staying in
Yeah.
the game, that's all right. But like you, I was just kind of stunned in the second half where nothing happened. Apart from them scoring, but there was no reaction. Just again, very tepid. Just stayed
Yeah.
as is.
Yeah. And like I said, if you asked me before the match, am I surprised by this result? No, I am not. But what I was more looking for was a performance. And I think we've got a half performance which leaves you with a sour taste in your mouth, thinking, yeah, it's probably a good thing that we're not in the Europa League. But I'm not bothered about Europe now. I was more looking for a performance from that team ready for Liverpool. That's the game where I'm going to be
Mm.
judging the manager in terms of whether he stays or goes, depending on how these players react. And for me, based on today's performance, I'm not feeling confident. I think it's the first time I've probably seen Eric Ten Hag probably out of his depth a little bit.
You think
You
so?
probably, yeah, a little bit, yeah, towards the end. You bring on Palestri, you bring on the other youngsters, which I understand to give them game time, but as a manager, you must think, right, I need to, change my formation or bring on more attacking. Just go for it at the end. You're gonna be out of the Champions League. Why not at least make an attempt to put crosses in the box? I mean, for example, what's the right back for Bayern Munich called? Coleman, I think his name is. I forgot his name. The right back for Bayern
Mm.
Munich. He crosses balls into the box. He should be telling our wingers, look, you got Rasmus Højlund in there. Yeah, I know he can't hold the ball, but cross the ball into the box and see what happens. One Bissaka did that in the second half, and Bruno skied it. So for me,
Yeah.
I don't know what instructions Eric Ten Hag gave at halftime, but yeah, he's losing me a little bit now because it was quite obvious for us to win that game. I'm not saying we would have won it, but he should have made a challenge. His in-game management, especially in the second half, was really poor for me. First half was a
Yeah.
decent because staying 0-0, but second half you've got to go for it, and that's what disappoints me the most from both the manager and the players.
It did feel like I agree with you in the extent of Bayern didn't get out of really second or third gear today. It felt like it felt like they were certainly there for the taking. I was
Yeah.
expecting a big Bayern Munich reaction after the weekend from their defeat, and they didn't really show it all that much. I mean, you talk about Ten Hag as well. Of course, Rafael Varane's been out in the cold
Mm.
for 6 weeks. Started today, I thought did very very well at left centre back too. I mean, is that another situation where it makes Eric Ten Hag look a bit foolish because
Yeah, I
Varane
mean,
came in and was one of our best players?
I know like I said a few streams ago, Owen. I think Eddie Tan has a good manager in terms of what he's had to deal with. People seem to have forgotten what the amount of stuff he had to deal with over the last 12 months. Ronaldo situation, Mason Greenwood situation. He's dealt with all those very well, but he's also created his own problems. And Varane and Casemiro is an example of that, where he should not have created that problem for me, and he's created that problem. Because he created the problem, he's having to be resolve it by eating a little bit of humble pie. But like I said, the second half, all I was asking for, just go for it. Doesn't matter if you lose 2-0. You lost 1-0, but you made me feel worse by losing 1-0. If you went for it, got some shots on target, Horner had a chance, and we lost 1-0, then I'd be forgiven. But I'm more disappointed that you've left a sour taste in my mouth. I'm less confident now for the Liverpool game than I was before this match because I was looking for a performance. And let's just see whether Ten Hag and the team have got the tactical nous and the competitiveness to compete at Anfield. I'm looking for them to compete at Anfield. I'm not expecting us to win there or draw. I just want to see these players compete man for man. Can they compete in the den that is Anfield? But they're just not filling me with that confidence, Owen.
No, I mean, look, the irony is if this result is replicated on Sunday, then he'll probably be like fairly safe. I mean, we're talking about if there's humiliation, aren't we? That we're talking about that he'll be in big trouble and that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm not sure what I was expecting this evening. I was just hoping. I think my prediction was that we were going to see some reaction for sort of 20 minutes, but I just don't think we really just saw that. Just really in
But
general
did
that
you?
much. I mean. You spoke about, Rasmus Højlund as well. I mean, he really struggled tonight. And was that a case, do you think,
Oh
of
yeah, I don't
service,
know.
or do you think that's because of the people around him? What did you make that down to?
It's really hard because A part of me thinks, he's only 20 years old, but at least do the basics. You know what? I saw many times, especially in the second half, the ball got fed to him, but he couldn't even hold the ball. At least be physical and hold the ball. And he was playing against Upamecano, and Upamecano is a big, strong centre back. And Kim Min-jae. Oh, by the way, Owen, Kim Min-jae, wow. He he took a good swerve. Yeah, he's made the right call for joining Bayern. I watched him today for the first time, and I was like, I never seen him play live, and this is the first time I watched him, and I thought what a player he was. But him and Upamecano just pocketed Hoyland, but then he's only 20 years old. But where's our attacking support? Garnacho and Anthony. They did okay, but Garnacho, maybe I'm asking too much for him. He'd win the ball, he'd do a little nutmeg, but then he can't penetrate or run past the defender. And Anthony, a couple of times he did run past the defender, but he didn't cross the ball as when he should do with his right foot or his left foot. He just didn't do anything. Again, did his little cut back and then slowed the play down. And once the play was slowed down, Bayern Munich came back. But I do agree with you, Owen. I think Bayern Munich were third gear, and I think they were there for the taking. If we were just a bit more courageous, and that's what's really annoying me. If that this was a team that were in second gear, had we a bit more ambitious in the second half and went for it, and that has to come from the manager as well, then we would have had a chance. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not bothered about Europe. I'm going to judge the manager come this Liverpool game and see how these players react to the manager and what that scoreline is at the end on Sunday.
Yeah, no, totally agree. And if you were going to have a prediction for Sunday, because I won't speak to you until after the game, what's your prediction?
3-0 to Liverpool.
3-0. 3-0 to Liverpool. To be fair, can't really argue against it. So a couple of super chats here. JK says Onana loves losing. Made new position false goalkeeper. And K Flow says, I disagree, Amanor. Have you seen this team score? We don't score from set pieces in years. We were lucky to be 0-0 in the first half. These lot are dropping like flies to avoid the Anfield thrashing. I don't necessarily know if we were lucky to be 0-0 in the first half. I thought the first half was very bland, to be honest. There wasn't really anything, and there wasn't anything in that game just in general. Like I said, for a game that was, I mean, Bayern, you get it for Bayern. They've been through for ages. They're top of the group. It doesn't matter. Their thing was, let's have a reaction from a bad result of the weekend. For United, must win and then hope. Put yourself in a decent position. And just offered very, very little in that game. And even after going one down, you thought, are we going to get a reaction here? Are we going to get something? Just nothing. I think the best chance probably was that Bruno opportunity. And that's a cut back to the edge of the box that he skied over. Apart from that, it was very, very, very tepid, to be honest with you. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Charles. Charles, I think it's probably expected that this result would come this evening and we would go out. But was it even more disappointing due to the lack of sort of just nothingness in that game as well?
Honestly, you said it yourself. Bayern have been through for ages. Like, I think they were through after the fourth game.
Yeah.
Or something. So they were flying. They were done. They just had to come in today and win. They don't have to get out of first gear, just light win. And they came and they did just that. Meanwhile, that walking, talking contradiction of a bald manager is just chilling there on the sideline. Honestly, did you say Varane couldn't play left centre back or Harry Maguire couldn't play left centre back? Which one was it? Because
I think he said both. I think he said he doesn't like Maguire at left centre back and he doesn't like Varane either. So I was like you. When I saw him start this evening, I thought, wow, he's very much contradicted himself. And then Varane was one of our best players.
But he's always doing this, though. Everything he says is a contradiction. Everything he does is a contradiction. The only thing that is consistent is how shite we are every game. That's the only thing. That's the only consistency about this manager. Today, I didn't expect us to beat Bayern, but I at least wanted to see urgency. Even not in, let's say not in the first half. Let's say we just keep it 0-0. Second half, we go gung ho. These guys came out in the second half looking just the same, just deflated. We played like we were through. We played like we were through with like 2 games to spare. There was no urgency, no, nothing. You said it. Our best chance was the one that Bruno used to kill somebody in the stands. Like, what are we doing? There was nothing else that was created. It's just it is poor all around. Now everybody's favorite centre back that they wanted sold is injured, and it's a crisis.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, this Maguire's injured, Shaw's injured, Bruno's not available for the game at the weekend. It was just, I do agree with you in terms of the, not that you would have like appreciated if we lost 3-0, but if we lost 3-0 and you said, well, we went for it second half and that's why we lost that game. I don't know. Like Amanor was saying earlier on, do you think that because how sort of, in second gear, third gear Bayern were, do you think they actually were there for the taking and we just,
They were
again, just did nothing?
Bayern didn't do anything. Like Bayern were not like doing anything. They were just playing, like you said, in first or second gear. They didn't go gung ho. They just wanted to win today, while not sustaining injuries or any serious tiredness. That's all they wanted to do, and they succeeded. Against us, I don't remember us doing anything to put Bayern under pressure. It just seemed like even when we did attack, it was going nowhere. We just had the ball to give it back to them so that they would attack. And time without number, you see Musiala just gliding through the midfield, Sane gliding through the midfield, you have Coman gliding through the midfield, you have Goretzka bullying everybody. Like, we could go on. That game, it wasn't anything. It was boring. Like, let's say we lost 3-0, but like for 90 minutes we were just attacking. Like, you could see us busting a gut. Like, okay, we were leaving space in behind, but hey, this is our only game to actually get into the Champions League round of 16. Leave it on the line. If you're gonna lose 3-0, fine. In the end, Copenhagen still won anyway, so we would have been out. But show us something. There's a game against Liverpool coming up. You guys, form wise, you're shite. Even when they win, you see them. There is no uplift. There's no nothing. It's just down. Now we go and face Liverpool, and our captain isn't even there. Maguire, that everybody seems to love now, isn't there. Luke Shaw, that everybody was praying for to come back so that we will start winning games, although we haven't really done anything with Shaw back. Now he is injured. All of a sudden, what's going to happen? Centre back partnership of Varane and Evans against Salah, Jota, Diaz. Hell, you could list anybody, bro. This
is what was weird though with the Varane thing as well. I don't know if you noticed this. So when Johnny Evans came on, I was assuming right. So Varane's going to go back to right centre back because he can't play there. But Varane stayed at left centre back.
I'm telling you, he's a walking, talking, bold contradiction.
Evans went to right centre back.
Brother,
I was like, what's going on?
That is the manager everybody looks to back. He's making decisions that don't make any sense. None whatsoever. You look at it on one hand, and the very next day, it's just rubbish. It's like, what was this guy even saying? We went through how many games with Evans and Maguire at centre back? Games that we were not even winning. All because Varane couldn't play left centre back. Now we've seen the guy play against Bayern, of all people, Bayern, and he was one of our best players. So what is this manager doing? Like, what's going on? Even Rashford and Martial now, they have an illness. I'm not buying that illness for a second. Those guys just didn't want to get involved in this game. Rashford would have gotten pelters by now. Martial would have gotten pelters. Everybody is saying Højlund can't hold up the ball, can't do this. When Martial is holding up the ball but getting no service, Martial is shit. Get rid of Martial. Højlund now can't hold up the ball, isn't getting any chances. Brother just did cardio for like 90 plus minutes. That is all. He just went to the gym and was on the treadmill for an hour, 30 minutes. Nothing. There was nothing created for the kid. Hell, he was even bullied by Kim Min-jae and Upamecano. It was men against a boy. They just left him up there. Yeah. Honestly, bro. Now we have to face Liverpool. And honestly, I would give anything for these guys to just steal a victory. I would give anything.
What would you say the odds are? You had a gamble the other day. You got a Chinese because of it. What do you think the odds are? What are the Charles odds of us getting anything from Anfield? Actually, not anything. A win from Anfield.
A win from Anfield. The odds.
Yes, what are the odds? What are the odds?
Bro, I'm not gambling on that. That's like one in like, with our current form, one in like 200.
Yeah, but Charles, think of the Chinese. Think how many you can get.
Nah, bro. Chinese is good when you win. You don't plan for Chinese when you're facing Liverpool at Anfield. You plan for Chinese when you're facing Chelsea, because you know that Chinese is coming through. It doesn't get worse than Chelsea. You know what I'm saying?
You sit there with the little thing tucked in,
Like,
knife and fork ready.
you just know it's coming through. Like Chelsea, you place any bet you want, they won't let you down. They will always save your weekend. But you see Anfield. You see those man them that are scoring 2 goals in the 80th and 90th minutes against this team, where players are just going to get thrown in now. Like just think, who is going to be the midfield partnership? Amrabat, Scott McTominay, and who? Mainu? He's gonna get rushed. Centre back, Varane and Evans, rushed. Fullback, Dalot and Wan-Bissaka. Dalot is probably going to play on the left, not his best position. He's going to get rushed by Mo Salah. Like, bro, I need these guys to steal a victory at Anfield. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know how that bold manager is going to do it. But this is where he has to show me something. He has to show me that, okay, I'm not a basketball manager. I actually manage football teams. I can get my team organized and I can steal a victory. It's not really that hard. You can do it.
I don't know about that, Charles.
Bro,
I think for this United side, I think it's hard to set up a team that's going to get anything from Anfield, because it's not only just the player and the manager. Those players, Charles, they're rubbish. They're rubbish. Particularly the ones that are available.
Oh yeah, the ones that are available, rubbish. But the ones that are not available, even when they were here, we were still rubbish.
That's true.
It makes me believe it's not down to the players only. Some of them may not be good enough, but when no matter who plays, we still see rubbish. I'm sorry, but most of these players, when the season started, again, we were happy having them. All of a sudden, all of them are rubbish. Sell the whole team. The manager is the only one that is doing anything. Like, nah, bro. Nah, we have Casemiro. Man said, nah, we need more football. That's a Champions League winner. How many Champions Leagues? Varane, quality centre back. I swear he played left centre back with Ramos and Pepe once upon a time in Real Madrid. According to Mr. Ajax, only pedigree is the Eredivisie. Champions League Varane, he really cannot play left centre back. Starts today, shows his quality. Where do we go from here?
It's true.
Anfield.
It's true. Anfield, indeed. That's where we go from here.
And I'm just going to give a light prediction for that Anfield game, yeah?
Go ahead.
I'm not really, I have a problem with bigging up Liverpool. So I'm going to say we're going to win 1-0, but I do not believe it at all.
I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that. That's what thing is, you never know what you're going to get with Charles, ever. Like, it just left to the prediction is one I don't believe. I mean, we've got nearly 700 people watching. I know people probably aren't in a liking mood, but if you do like it, more people will tune in, shares it out, more people get involved in the UV community, and more people can call in and have their say. So if you haven't already, click that like button as well. K-Flow also says, it'll be interesting. I will be interested in the shot stats in the box today. I think all of the stats of United aren't that good today. I mean, in a game that is a must-win, you've got to go on the attack. We had 5 shots. 5. Not on target. 5 shots in the whole game. 1 on target, which is that Luke Shaw one, which Neuer put over the bar. That's it. That is not enough. Possession. I mean, I don't even really look at possession that much because it doesn't really tell the full story. You can have 30% possession, still pepper the goal with shots, but it's very clear. It just didn't do enough. Didn't do anything. Didn't do anything at all. 5 shots. Not good enough. Let's go to show. What did you make of what we saw this evening? Expected an exit, but did you expect it to be that kind of just dull and tepid?
We didn't watch a football match, Owen. We watched a Bayern Munich training session. That's what we watched.
They're doing rondos.
I mean, come on. What? We watched a Bayern training session, and what was more evident was that when the Bayern players were coming off at the end of the pitch, they looked fresh. They could have played another 90. They must have come today thinking, they'll be going home today thinking, hold on, what happened today? Did we play today? They were actually thinking, hold on, like, these lot needed to win. This is Man United. They needed to win at home. And we just went there. We took the piss, took the 1-0, and even our own fans were singing "It's coming home." Like it was lifeless, soulless, pathetic. What Man United now are, but basically what we are. That was what we saw on the pitch is what we are, and it's just. There's one thing I want to address, and I hate saying it because I've been backing him for a long time, yeah. But I need to talk about Erik ten Hag, yeah, because there's certain things you can't like. I want him to succeed, but there's just certain things you can't defend. I mean, if you look at the stats this season, 23 games in all comes 12 defeats. You're talking about over 50% defeat percentage this season. So basically, before we play a game now, we got to flip a coin. Heads or tails, are we going to win or lose? That's what's happening. Yeah. 15 goals conceded in the Champions League. Worst ever by an English side. One win in 6 games in a group that contains Galatasaray and Copenhagen. Yeah. Some of the things with the players I'm just not understanding, right? You go from wanting to sell McTominay in the summer to now he's your stalwart midfielder. You will not drop him, right?
Yeah.
Kobe first came back from injury. You started him at Everton. Was brilliant. Hasn't started a game since. Didn't even come on today. Hannibal came on ahead of Kobe.
Kobe came on second half.
Okay, Kobe came on second half, but again, has not started a game since Everton. And then the sad thing is, he probably gets thrown in at Anfield on Sunday by force because of injuries and suspensions. Might get overrun, and then we make the poor kid look shit.
Yeah.
And then you got the Varane situation where apparently he can't play left centre back, plays left centre back all game. What's that about? He puts Dallo on at left back instead of Reguilon. There's certain things I'm trying to defend him, yeah, but I look at it and I just go, like, what is going on? Like, what? Honestly, like the basics. Like, I look at Højlund, who I know Højlund's been poor and is getting worse, but honestly, I feel sorry for him because I do think he's trying way too hard to prove that he's like a physical monster. And I felt today he tried really hard to prove it up against Upamecano and Kim Min. I mean, Kim Min Jae bodied him a couple of times. It looked pretty bad, I can't lie. But again, as a coach, if I'm watching Højlund these past, I don't know, 4 or 5 games where he's getting increasingly more physical, and not one thing I saw from his Atalanta days was that one of Rasmus's biggest strengths is that he can run the channels really well. That's from what maybe I've misunderstood the player. Have we seen him once in a United shirt run the channel and we pick him out? I don't think so.
No, I don't know if any of the wide players at United actually know like what his strengths are and how to play with him, which is baffling considering they train with him every day. But there was a point in the first half, I think it was, where Garnacho picks up the ball, he runs with it, and it's just Højlund, and Højlund's trying to like make some run, and then Garnacho's I don't know what to do, and it's only Højlund that's with him, and then Garnacho just kind of ran into a defender, and I thought, well, that kind of sort of sums up the sort of attackers this evening. That there were a couple of like. I likened it to when we played City at Old Trafford, where you go, well, there's a couple of moments where maybe it could have turned into something. It wasn't a chance, maybe it could have turned into something. But every single time, that final pass doesn't exist. It's just like passing into a defender, or like you said, Kim Min Jae, easy. One of the times he slid on Anthony, got a goal kick from it, just played it off him with ease. It was just, everything was completely tepid. And I do agree with what you're saying about, the Ten Hag stuff that's difficult to defend. And I've still always said, I don't think get rid of the manager because I just think Man United is rotten. I just think they're rotten as an institution. And unless there's substantial change everywhere, I don't see how getting another manager in will just change things. But this is in the territory where he don't help himself. I mean, you mentioned like Kobe Mainoo. When he came on for Varane, and Amrabat went at centre back. And I thought, like, why? And that's the problem, isn't it? Is these things that you go, why? Do you worry like with those things that he does because he's not helping himself? He's making it even more difficult for those people that are starting to turn against him a little bit.
He's not even worried at this point. I said it to you after the Bournemouth game, there's no coming back. We're seeing the end. People might want to reject it. We're seeing the end of the Ten Hag reign. I do believe that. I don't know. I don't know whether he'll get sacked after the Liverpool game or whatever, but we're seeing the end because as much as look, many things can be right. Look, we're all in agreement. The club's rotten, from the core. But there's still, as you still have a job to do as a manager. You still got to control what you can control. You know what I mean? You still got a job to do out there with the players. And right now, or not even right now, this season, as it's gone on, he's just gotten like crazier and crazier with the things that he's doing. I honestly look at him. I just think he's lost the plot. I really do. Like I look at him, I just think, like you said, he put Kobe on for Varane and put Amrabat for what? Like what for? Like to think that Amrabat has come to this club and has now played centre back and left back is insane. It's like there's certain things like it's like he's overcomplicating himself so badly to accommodate certain players. And the only tactic we seem to have for trying to score is, well, I'll just push McTominay further up front alongside Hoyland and hope that he smashes in a header.
Yeah. It's Fellaini sense.
It's literally Fellaini football. Like if we can't do that, if we can't put McTominay at the end of something, we don't score. We don't. And I don't know. Honestly, I don't know where we go from here. I think, listen, Sunday is. I think the most depressing thing as a United, I don't know how many United fans as a percentage of the fan base are going into Sunday with any hope. It'll probably be very little. And I think that's the saddest thing as a United fan, where you can't even, I was saying on Ministry, like, how do you look forward to games that is so soul destroying? You know what I mean, Owen? Like, even I was watching, I didn't watch the whole UV stream today, but you could see even someone like KG, who's so ultra positive, which is good. I like that about him. Like, I rate people who can be positive like that, because I can't. I don't have it in me, but he can. Even he's now saying we're gonna lose to Villa. When he's saying that, it's bad, because he don't talk like that. He doesn't talk like that. I've seen him on his guys like, we're probably gonna lose to West Ham. We've lost to Villa. I'm thinking, is this KG or is this Flex? Yeah. Like this is like it's mad.
No, it's true. But the worst thing is like you said, he's not wrong. Yeah, not wrong. I mean, even this evening when it's got the half time and maybe that element was just there. I've got, I tell you what, maybe Bayern, they're a bit off it today, and it's 0-0. Very quickly in the second half, you sort of realised, no, it's not.
You know what's mad? I saw Culture Camp say this year. When we come out a second half, we always end up being worse. And he's saying, like, what the hell does Ten Hag say to these players at half time? Because we always come out worse. We should be coming out better. So I'm just kind of, I don't know like what to. I don't really know what to say anymore. Like I don't know.
No, I agree with you. And a quick prediction for Sunday.
Do you really want me to say it?
Yes.
I think we'll lose 6-0.
Jeez, I wish I didn't ask. Jesus God, I wasn't expecting 6. I wasn't expecting 6. And he's quickly exited the studio as well. Oh, I shouldn't have asked. Shit, 6. And again, you can let me know in the chat what people are saying in the chat at the moment. We'll get to another call in just a second. Skiliano says we need to be honest about standards. United's years away from competing again. I agree with that. Although the problem is that we just didn't even compete with just in the match tonight. It was just so flat and so awful. Henrico says fans will say this, but simultaneously say that even Pep wouldn't survive at United. The thing is, he wouldn't. I mean, Pep Guardiola probably wouldn't get sacked. He'd probably resign after like a month. He'd see realistically what was going on at United. He'd be like, F this. I got a reputation to keep. He wouldn't even take the job. He'd laugh it off. All of these managers would. And I know that's kind of like the thing of like, oh, if this person were here, they'd get sacked today. But it is true. Like no one can succeed. Nobody. With the structure as it is right now, with those players, nobody can succeed. Nobody. But the problem is, and this is where I think kind of what Show and what Amanor and Charles was kind of saying is, I think fans understand that. And if it was just like a pure, like, the owners and executives against the rest of us, then I think we could get aboard to that. But it's when the manager makes those strange calls that you go, you're not helping yourself in that situation, right? And I think that's part of the problem. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Chalaboy Comics.
Hey, how's it going on?
What did you make of all of that?
So good to see you. This is a
likewise.
a tough loss. Although it's somewhat expected. I personally thought we had a chance to beat Bayern. I came into the game positive. However, judging from the calls we've gotten and the responses, I think I may have just seen something completely different. Because what I felt from watching that game, particularly in the first half, my main takeaway was that Ten Hag is a really good coach in the sense that he set us up to compete with Bayern Munich, who on paper has a way stronger squad. I thought our press was really effective and Bayern couldn't play. So I know people are saying, oh, Bayern looked like we were in first gear, second gear. I don't necessarily think that was the case up until the second half. So what I mean by that is the first half, I thought we were strong in our press. We had good attacking opportunities. And then, in the second half, we lost a ton of steam. And then that's when the game got a lot easier for Bayern Munich. But I think the main issue is that it's a player quality issue. And it alludes to what you were saying, earlier on, where we'll get into opportunities, but then we wouldn't turn those opportunities into chances because Garnacho will run down a blind alley or we'll hit the ball over the bar. So it felt like we just don't have enough skills. And I looked at our age, and we had a 20-year-old in Højlund, we had a 19-year-old in Garnacho, and a 23-year-old in Anthony leading our line, compared to a 27-year-old, a 30-year-old from Bayern Munich. So that just shows that they're levels above us in terms of ability on the ball, and it's just going to take time. Højlund is not ready to be our main striker. I think he has the potential to score goals, but we can just see with our eyes he's not the finished product or close to it yet. So we'll need a better striker, going forward. But I just felt it was we competed in the first half. Second half we fell off a little bit, and that's understandable. But I don't buy the narrative that we didn't come out with fight, because I thought, especially in the first half, we tried to go toe-to-toe with Bayern, and we just were let down by our execution.
See, I can see with what you're saying when it pertains to the first half a bit, because I was a bit like you when it got to halftime. Like I said, I went, 0-0, stay in the game. But it's really, football's, it's over 90 plus minutes, isn't it?
Right.
And that's what really disappointed me the most, is that in the second half, I just felt that we just kind of realized, or the players, and even to an extent the coach, was just like, we're not winning. We're going out. The other team in Copenhagen scored. That's not going to go our way. And it was just really, really tepid. And I don't know how much of it was based on Ten Hag's tactics, or more based on the fact that Bayern didn't really have to try that much. I mean, I suppose you can say that, we were sort of pressing them a bit, okay, but I never felt Bayern looked uncomfortable. And that's in a game which you do have inferior players. You just got to make them feel uncomfortable. Like when we played Barcelona last year, you got to be at them. You got to be intense.
Right.
And Ten Hag mentioned this in the press conference too. It was a real sticking point for me, what he said in the press conference. He said, we know the crowd's good. The fans are always with us, but we have to energize them. And that is one thing I don't think Man United can come out of this game tonight and say they energized the crowd to really support them and back them, because it was flat. I mean, and at points, even before Bayern scored, the Old Trafford crowd was quiet tonight, really, really quiet. And I think that just came from just a lack of intensity. And again, I don't know if that's a player thing. I don't know if that's a manager thing. And then when it comes to the second half, some of the subs, the substitutions or the selections, I mean, what did you think of Ten Hag selecting Varane at left centre back after weeks of saying he can't play there?
So that's the one change that boggled my mind. But how I sort of rationalize it, to try to rationalize, is the fact that Maguire is our informed defender. So you want to play him in the position that he's been playing the best at. And so the only other option we had was either Evans or Varane. But can you imagine the backlash if we had Champions League Varane on the bench in a must-win Champions League game? So I think he had to play Varane. And the reason why I think he didn't switch them, or I mean, I don't know this, but this is the only thing that would make sense, is there were specific tactical instructions that he gave Varane in that position, that it wouldn't have made sense to then like abort that and then switch him over to the right side. So I think it must have just been a tactical decision why he stayed there. But to your point,
But then if that's the case,
he can
then
play there.
But then why do you then take him off and put Amrabat there, who also won't know said tactical instructions?
Right. I think at that point he was just trying to get more midfielders on the pitch, just so that it was like an attack and change in a way, take off a defender for a more offensive player. I think that was what it was. But yeah, I wouldn't be too concerned about that substitution. I think my concern or annoyance is the fact that it waited so long for Maino to come in. That's sort of my biggest stick with Ten Hag, is that he doesn't seem to play his best players. That's the only thing that sort of boggles my mind. But in terms of actually the game plan, in terms of how we set up, I think there's value to what he brings, because that, I know some people are like, oh, if we had just gone gung-ho and conceded 3 goals, I guarantee you now we'd be way more pissed than we are right now, with Bayern, because the last thing you'd want before facing Liverpool is to have a leaky goal. At least we can say we were solid for the most of the game before the goal came. And for the most part, I think we kept Bayern a little bit quiet. I know they had a couple chances early on with a few crosses that flashed by, but I didn't feel like they were a better team than us, even though on paper. Actually, let me not say that. They were the better team than us, but I don't feel like the skill gap, with the skill gap that they have in players, I would have expected them to dominate us more. And the fact that didn't happen, I think meant that we got things right structurally. And I really just think it was a situation where every time there was a little bit of momentum and we could have capitalized, we lost the ball, or the cross was bad, or it just wasn't a good execution. So that's how I felt. So there was some positives, but overall, I just think we're just not good enough as a squad.
And finally, now with Maguire out, with Shaw out seemingly too, with Bruno suspended Sunday, are you feeling any more positive or pessimistic heading into that one?
Low key, Owen, I'm really, really nervous. I am so nervous. But what I would say is that the only quote unquote good thing about Bruno not being there, not being in the team, is the fact that the emotions of Anfield aren't going to make him break our team structure and team shape. Because you can just imagine, him trying to rile up everyone and just like running gung-ho at, the defender, we get played through and get killed. So I'm hoping that if Ten Hag picks, Amrabat and Maino, we'd be able to have some sort of control in the midfield that I think is integral for us to get a little bit of hope from Anfield. But what I would say is that Liverpool do concede goals, and we can potentially try score a goal as well. So I'm not. I know it's bleak, but I'm not confident. But I'm just gonna have to believe and say 2-1 United out of the miracle of something that I don't know how it's gonna happen. But 2-1 United. Let's go.
Challerboy Comics, you might eventually believe your own words. I mean, towards it when it was going on there, he just stopped the belief halfway through, didn't he? Maybe, I don't know. Lucas Chan with the super chat says disappointed by today's result, but 1-0 win on Sunday. Glory, Man United. Full Studio says he subbed for Varane for the Liverpool game. Game was lost, but potentially he's playing, isn't he, the weekend? We know what that centre-back pairing is. Can't be anyone else unless Lindelof comes back. And the reckless one, which is Charles, said, your manager said this game was very good. 5 shots, 1 on target over 90 minutes in a must-win game was very good. We need to get rid of Erik ten Hag already. That's much more angry, Charles. That was very, very different to the Charles that was on here. I think once he saw the stats, he got much more angry. The time may be now. I don't know if that is the case, the Manchester. When is the time? What is going on with time at the moment? Time's run out on Manchester United's Champions League campaign, certainly. Time's run out on Man United in Europe this season too.
The time is not good.
No.
The end is nigh, Owen, I have to say.
Yes.
We have come, of course, the rest, black, and we should have a moment of silence for our Champions League and European Cup in general. But
okay.
That's a short moment. It's a short moment.
I was expecting a bit longer than that.
Well,
it's devastating. We're bottom of the group. You know what I mean?
It is. Now, I know, today's result, I did not expect much. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people are going to be blaming one person. And I think we need to look elsewhere. There's, a lot of people will say it's Onana's fault. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to tell you, in order to find the person who is guilty of our exit, we must look back at last season. There was a game last year between Real Betis and Arsenal. And there was a certain person in attendance there where they lost and got kicked out of Europe. And I think there was just some powers that be of the judge that we just could not overcome. And let me show you.
Kim Kardashian.
That's the one.
Manchukushner. You're coming. First of all, your moment of silence wasn't even a moment. I mean, and now you're saying the person to blame for Man United's exit today is Kim Kardashian.
Yes.
Your point is as weak as your green screen. Just like you, it's disappearing all the time. Your point is you're ringing. I don't know what that is as well. He's like he's got a cowbell attached to him. I don't. It's always risky. It's always risky answering his call. It's always risky. That's the analysis you're not going to see on Monday Night Football. It's Kim Kardashian. I was wondering, I was like, the green screenness is not as usually that bad. And now I know why, because he had to disappear out of it very quickly to get the Kim picture in. I mean, well, exactly, Araya. Voodoo bell. We knew that's what it was. Well, they always say, don't they? Those kind of sort of spirits and stuff like that. If you hear a ringing, the Manchukushner is going to come round. If you hear a ringing and you get a waft of bullshit, the Manchukushner might be somewhere near. Oh my God, Jesus! Just cowbell for no reason. I mean, he said the end is nigh. That's what he was doing. He was ringing the bell of doomsday basically the whole time. I mean, I don't know. Let's try and get this show back on the tracks. It's just been firmly derailed by Rey Mysterio's. I mean, I don't even know what kind of relation he is, but he's shaking this cowbell going, it's Kim Kardashian's fault. Who is he? Why you let him in? Wahid says, I was here at the game. The stadium cleared when Bayern scored. Fans have lost belief, and it was pathetic by the team. Erik ten Hag looks like he has given up, to be honest. He cut a very pensive figure and a strange. Again, a lot of his decisions, they were baffling and strange, certainly. I don't know. Kim Mysterio, I mean, says a savage mustache, that's a great name as well. Lil Yo-Yo. I mean, I don't know how you're going to follow that call. I wish don't even try. Don't even try do what he did.
No. I'm not as creative as the Manchukushner, so don't worry about it.
No.
I was going to say, you must really love your job, Owen, because to cover this team is tough.
It is tough.
I don't know how you do it.
I don't know.
I really don't know how you do it, man. Do you want to do a proper 10-second silence for the demise of our club?
I do, because that was rubbish. He went, I'll have a moment of silence. I went, okay. He went, that's it over. I went,
he literally gave you a 1-second silence.
I didn't bow my head. Right.
All right. You ready?
Okay. Yes.
Let's do it now. Thank you, Owen. 10 seconds.
Yeah, that was good.
There we go. Do you feel much better now? after that 10-second silence? A little bit.
A little bit better. How do
Yeah.
you feel after what you saw this evening?
I tried listening to Chalaboy Comics' points. I hear him, but you can't justify that today. Today, a lot of it was on the manager. Like, I don't know what I was watching, man.
Yeah, I mean, what do you make of sort of the decisions surrounding, say, Varane and others?
Listen, I want this manager to do well, but if he's dying on this hill for Scott McTominay and not using Raphael Varane, then let him get sacked. Let him die on his own hill. Like, for me, I'm at the place now where I don't let football affect me anymore, because if I do, I'm just going to be a crackhead on the street and go crazy. Like, why should I do that to myself? It's no point, man. Relax, people. Just relax.
Is that where you're at this point? You're just kind of.
I couldn't care less, man. I'm just here to troll. And actually, speaking of trolling, I need you to help me with something, yeah? Because if we beat Liverpool, I'm trying to get KG to wear a man wig. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where they stick on like adhesive glue, and then they have those two. It's like a toupee.
I was just more a man wig.
Because women wear wigs as well. Like,
yeah.
But basically, it's like a toupee where he can actually have like a trim.
Actually glued. Oh yeah, I saw.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Pilkington did it as well.
Exactly.
It was like glued on, and then they sort of literally made a real hair and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Well, we'll see. What? So you're saying if we win, then
somehow
KG will do that?
Listen, I'm trying to get him to agree to it. He's trying to get the missus on board. So I need you to like kind of help behind the scenes on that, because imagine that. Yeah. Content.
Yeah, I'll see if I can push on that. He doesn't really answer my phone calls at the moment. So
he doesn't answer anyone's phone calls, so you're okay.
Not really at the moment. But then saying that, then if we were to do that, get him to be on board, what's your prediction for Sunday? Have we got any chance? Is there any hope? Did tonight give you any confidence? I mean, it was only 1 goal conceded. Right. Anything's possible, even though we had 5 shots in the whole game.
I'm going to say this, right? This is also to people in the chat as well. Whatever religion you follow, pray, because we need a miracle. Even if you're an atheist, have hope, because it's that peak right now. There's no way I see us winning. I don't know. I don't know if it'll be 6 like Show said, but I don't see us winning. I'll be very honest with you, and I've accepted it.
Yeah. I'd love to go into a game at Anfield like it was in the the mid 2000s. Used to go in those games with it's going to be tough, but I feel like we'll win. I can't remember the last time I went into a game at Anfield and thought United are going to actually win. Maybe last season, actually, in fairness, because Liverpool were a bit shit and we were doing well. We just won the Carabao Cup. But it feels like every season when the Liverpool game comes around at Anfield, we go, oh, for God's sake. Like, we know, and it always feels like it's towards the end of the manager's tenure, isn't it?
Exactly.
Jose,
it's like
Ralph.
Anfield just does it for us, isn't it? Oh, well.
I can't deal with this. But
is there any way we can link this to Flex Judge?
No, it's long gone. That's long gone. I mean, I can't even do any of the Flex Judge this season because
the only way I could link it to Flex Judge is that Musiala wasn't really doing anything, and he spoke to Musiala.
No, but then he spoke to Thomas Tuchel and he won. So I mean, he controls everything.
That is true.
They didn't even get a question in the press conference for the United ones. Can't even blame that either. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just we're just rubbish. Even the sort of outside spiritual forces that we usually used to talk about, all that kind of stuff, even that's not really affecting Manchester United either.
So do you think the hyenas are not even affecting us at the moment? Are we just that bad that the hyenas don't affect us?
You know what my prediction is with that? Is there's maybe more than one. I think they might be dotted around.
How many do you think there are?
I don't know. Old Trafford, I think maybe the roof leaked and that's what they fixed it with.
With what, hyenas?
Yes, with a hyena. They went, there you go. That's fixed. You know, they could be all over the place. Who knows? There's lots of places in Old Trafford people ain't seen for years. To be honest with you,
that is true. That is true. You know.
So I don't know. The club, the manager, the players, they're all cursed. It's all over. Let's just give up.
I'm going to ask you one final question, Owen, before you let me go.
Go ahead. Yes.
How long do you think the manager has left?
I think he has left till the end of the season. I still say he's going to stay at the end of the season, just because I don't think he gets let go or anything like that until Ineos come in anyway, because it's not really the people that are currently there, their decision to make. I did think that Ineos would want to keep him around, just kind of change his role a little bit. But my worry now is that it could be a situation where Ineos are like, oh, we were going to make a lot of changes anyway. Maybe we just go completely clean slate, completely fresh start. That's what I think he has to worry about. But at the same time, if we go to Anfield at the weekend and we lose 1-0, then people will be like, oh, we thought we were going to lose anyway. Like if like tonight happened at Anfield, this is how bad it is. We take
I'll
it.
take
we go,
it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
What?
we go,
Please.
Yeah, we go 1-0.
You know what?
Maybe
I'm captaining in Salah on FPL. That's how much confidence I have in my team. Zero.
Wow, he didn't need to go that far, Lil Yo-Yo. They need to. I mean, he's using in the fantasy Premier League. Salah captain him. I was waiting for him to say triple captain as well. I was waiting for it. I couldn't. I mean, we had a moment of silence. We don't need to do that. Oh, Yo-Yo. He's go watch him. Go watch Lil Yo-Yo. And Fidel is the latest member of the UV Members Club. Thank you very much to you. Welcome to you as well. Anyway, guys, there you go. It's 11:06 here in the UK, and it's another defeat. And it's 2 defeats in the last 2 games. Anfield at the weekend. I'll be with you after the Anfield game, as I am after every single match day. You can call in. You can have your say. I'll be with you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. for Match Day Reloaded. We get to relive this shit all over again. And that will be actually, a lot of people have been saying, when's the last time the Champions League intro gets played? That will be it. Tomorrow will be the one. Tomorrow will be the one when the Champions League intro gets played for the final time. It's cursed massively. I'm glad I don't have to play the Europa League theme this season. I just don't know if I could have actually taken that at all. But I will be live tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Match Day Reloaded, and we'll go into some of the quotes, some of the reactions, and see where we go from there. And then very quickly, attention turns to Anfield on Sunday. The build-up, plenty of content on the horizon when it comes to that. Previews, fan clashes, got some really fun stuff planned. So if you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well, bottom right-hand corner. As always, appreciate everyone that's tuned in. Hope you feel better, a bit of therapy. And I'll speak to you again very soon. I'm out of it. Have a good one. Peace.